Hello and welcome to Algebra 2, Chapter 7.1, some extra examples. So if you need some additional examples to the 7.1 video, here they are. Alright, so the first thing is if it gives you your index, which is your n, and it gives you your radicand, which is your value under your radical. So if we're looking at I'm going to write the nth root, but how about the fourth root? That would be better. The fourth root of 625. And again, I would just use your calculator. So if you have a graphing calculator, it's under math, and you're going to have to press 4 first, and then go to math number 5. Otherwise, if you have a regular calculator, Casio or TI, you're looking either for a Y to the X button, or you might have an X root, and so it looks like X root like that. Alright, so I'm just going to type that directly into my calculator, and it gives me 5. And for the second one here, we're looking for the cube root of negative 27. Now, typically you can't have a negative under a square root because there's no two numbers that when you multiply them together, they give you a negative, but you can have a negative under a cube root because we're looking at a negative times a negative times a negative, and that is negative 3. Alright, so solving equations, and this is going to be really big later on. Can you solve these equations? So, item number 1 is to get the variable or the grouping that has the exponent with it by itself. So 5y to the 4th equals 80. You really need to, have to, otherwise you can do it without it, but it's going to make it a lot harder. Divide by 5 first, so 80 divided by 5 is 16. And then how do you get rid of that fourth root? How do you get rid of that fourth power? You take the fourth root. So fourth root and a fourth power cancel, and the fourth root of 16 is 2. Alright, so the second one here, we already have our grouping by itself, so you're just going to take the cube root of both sides, and this is y minus 1 because the cube root and the cube cancel, equals, we are going to leave this as the cube root of 32, and I'll talk in 7.2 about why that doesn't simplify. And you're going to add 1 to both sides, and so I would write that 1 plus the cube root of 32. There we go. Okay, and some word problems. So the rate r at which an initial deposit P will grow to a balance A in T years with interest compounded N times a year is given by the formula R equals, and then you can read the rest of that there. So, what we're trying to figure out is what does the rate have to be for us to make a certain amount of money compounded a certain number of times a year. So find R, so we're finding the rate. So what we need to do is we need to get this all in the right places. So N is going to be 12, so we're compounding monthly. Alright, so then we're going to have 2,000 divided by 1,000. So we're putting in 1,000 and we're hoping to get 2,000 out of it. So we're doubling our money. 1 over, we're going to put parentheses around this here, 12 times 11 minus 1. Okay, so, it's up to you how much you want to simplify it, or if you just want to plug it into your calculator as is, just be really careful that you follow all of your order of operations. But we could probably go ahead and make this 2, okay, 2,000 divided by 1,000 to the 1/132nd power, because that's what 12 times 11 is. So I'd probably at least do that much, and then try to put it in my calculator, and I get 0.063179, which as a percent, because this is a rate, you're looking at 6.3%, because remember you divide by 100 to turn that into a percent. Okay, and a basketball has a volume of 455.6 cubic inches. The formula for the volume of a basketball, V equals 4.18879 R cubed. Sorry, that should be a cubed. Find the radius. So we're finding R. So if we substitute our 455 in for V, because that's the volume. Okay, and what is our first step? You have to get your R cubed by itself, which means you are dividing both sides by 4.18879. So that's going to give us 108.766 equals R cubed. And to get rid of a cube, we cube root it. So that's going to be R. And in my calculator, I'm going to do the cube root of the answer and get 4.77. And this is, those were cubic inches, so that is inches. So the radius would be measured in just inches. All right, so there's a few extra examples. Let me know if you have any more questions.